Hello everyone and welcome again to AmmoMart.com. We've been waiting to do this video for a long time and Matt and I are very excited to bring you this footage. The purpose of today's video will be to show you what happens to bullets once they hit something substantial in your house. And if you look downrange, you'll see that we have an old refrigerator of mine sort of set up with one of our telltale chickens on the inside. You can tell I've gridded off the refrigerator, so I'm going to try and place different calibers through the refrigerator and into the poultry. We also have a GoPro camera set up down there so you can watch what happens to the target. I think you're going to find that even substantial home items like a refrigerator really don't do much as far as stopping a bullet goes. It never works like it does on television, and if nothing else, it'll be really fun to shoot a refrigerator and then some chicken. I do have a lot of different calibers and weapons set up today, but before we take a look at those, let's go downrange and get a closer look at what we have going on. Once again, we're out here at Ghost Town, which is an amazing facility here in Findlay, Ohio, and I'd like to thank Buffalo Trading Company for the weapons that they let me borrow that aren't my personal ones. We'll cover what those are, as well as the ammunition. So, of course, we have normal home-size refrigerator, perhaps a bit small for most people's use, but constructed fairly well. You'll notice this is the target line. We're going to start with 9mm, then we'll graduate to 40, come down to 357 SIG, 45, and then of course 10mm. What I'm going to guess is they're all going to go straight through after traumatizing the chicken quite substantially. So enough about that. Let's shoot some stuff. For the 9mm demonstration, I'm going to use my personal Springfield Armory 1911, of course chambered in 9mm. Love this gun, fantastic shooter, really good accuracy. The ammo is from Fiocchi. A word on all of the ammo we're going to use today. It's all self-defense or jacketed hollow point. I didn't see much purpose in using a ball round. It really doesn't, people don't really use that for home defense if they can avoid it. So this one, of course, is a 147 grain jacketed hollow point from Fiocchi. And we'll see how much penetration it gets. A lot of people prefer the 147s as maximum knockdown for a 9mm. That's why we chose it, so let's see what happens. You can look downrange with me. You see I've drawn an X where the chicken will be. I'm going to attempt to put the rounds in different spots so that they each one encounter the same amount of resistance, which is to say they don't go through the same hole. And number one. Right on the X. Slight left. Okay, slight right. Make the weapon down and let's go see. So, what we have is 3 relatively linear entry points. I have sort of double wrapped the chicken so it stays a little more together. I, of course, have removed the camera so we can have some room to walk and talk. Of course, into the poultry, and as you can tell, it leaves 3 very harsh, nasty looking exits. Does absolutely nothing and would have been, as you can tell, certainly fatal if you were on this side of the refrigerator. So we had covered before, 9mm certainly has enough power for those that were ever in doubt, and I think this is a good illustration of that. So I'm going to move our poultry a little downrange, so to speak, and reset for 40. Second caliber we've selected is 40 Smith & Wesson. These are Remington's 180 grain Golden Saber. We've used that bullet in our other demonstrations in previous videos, and man, is it impressive. And I'm going to use, as I said, my CZ75 Tactical Sport Orange. Love this gun. Anybody that makes a 3-pound gun with a 2-pound trigger, I'm a fan. Now, once again, we'll try to go on the X. Not sure what that was. Looks like a piece of insulation. The ice machine. Oh, nice. Now we'll go left. That was the ice machine. And now we'll go right. Gonna clear this weapon out. So I've just put 3 of the 40 Smith & Wessons from downrange, and after the first round we'll notice that it did in fact murder our ice machine, which of course took the cover off here. You have 3 impacts, of course, just like a drill press, slightly of course larger than the 9, but not much. And then you have, once again, damaged poultry and 1 permanently deceased ice maker. Now I'm curious, and I haven't cheated yet, to see what goes on here. Interesting. It would appear like that the shot that entered the ice maker still might be in there. As you can tell, hopefully you can get this from my head cam, that she went in right there and it did not exit. So note to those at home, if you're small enough to hide inside the ice maker, you might survive. So part 3 will be the 357 SIG caliber Glock Model 31. These are actually 125 grains of I Want You Out of My House Speer Gold Dot. I've shot this gun in a previous video. I was totally blown away by what a flat shooter it was. It's controllable, and man does it pack a punch. Once again, we'll try to go right down the middle. Try to get a little more in line here. So, the first time we noticed, it actually moved the poultry. It was sitting on a glass shelf, and I could tell from here it pushed it backwards. We'll see what happens. Round number 2, 357 SIG. We're going to try slight left. I have to go pick the chicken back up. But I have to tell you, Matt, our producer, is going to reset the poultry. Boys and girls at home, for those of you that were not a fan of 357 SIG, I would get there soon, because that bad boy is nasty. And controllable. Very controllable. So, one more shot with the SIG. Slight right. Now then, of course, we got 3 linear holes. And once again, it's substantially pushed. Try to prop this poor guy up some for the next go round. So, one shot burrowed into this shelf here. And you do have 3 exit holes. One's just slightly lower because my muzzle must have been canted down a bit. But 3 exits, and wow, does it hit with some energy. So once again, Remington Golden Saber, 45 ACP out of a SIG 1911. 45 ACP on the X. Right on the X, left, and then right. Weapon's empty. Wow, those make bigger holes. The ones were close enough it just completely tore out, but there are 3 exits. Of course, as you can see, 3 entrances as well, and mangled poultry, and we seem to be attracting bees. Oh, hey, look, there's a spent round. We had just finished shooting the 45 ACP demonstration, and I happened to notice the round that did not exit from the 40 lays right there on the shelf in pretty pristine condition. I must have overlooked it. Hopefully the camera caught it, and I didn't. But we'll have to go back when we edit the video. Really, really cool. So we're going to proceed with the 10 millimeter. For the 10mm part of our demonstration, these are 180 grain Federal Hydra-Shock, the telltale stem in the middle, out of a SIG P220 Elite. This one you would expect the chicken to be over there by the backstop when we're done. Weapon is empty. Three clean holes. Lots of mangled chicken. Put one through the back, of course, and you have 1, 2, and 3. It's interesting to note, even though the entrances are linear, we do have some interesting results as far as there's one of them here. You can see a bounce back, which is kind of cool. I don't know if we can catch this on camera, but you'll notice going through something substantial does change the flight path of the bullet. So, you know, that's why you get these odd sort of things here. Now what I'm hoping is that the 10s actually did exit. One of them looks like I tore it through the back here, which was probably one of these. But we'll deconstruct the refrigerator when we're done and see what actually did happen, because there's the two entrances for the 10, and it's possible that the other one, because yeah, the other one is probably behind here and you can't see it. Could be if we take the back off here, we might be able to actually, when we get back, find the other bullet. Cool demonstration though. Throughout the course of our testing, we noticed that one of the .40 caliber rounds did not exit because it hit some substantial gearing or mechanism in the ice machine. What I'm going to attempt to do next is try to put the 357 SIG in roughly the same spot and see what will happen then. So the right hole on the .40 is the aiming point. And I punched the hole. I don't know if my trajectory is correct. It's a little higher. I'm going to go downrange and see what happened next. But it's on the hole. And as you can tell, it mangled roughly the same part . But in my humble, at least right now, without deconstruction, absolutely went through. We're going to try another 357 round, a slightly higher and right than the last one we used for the .40 hole, hopefully giving it its own flight path and its own kind of path into the ice maker. So there I'm on the original hole. Half inch above, and potentially a half inch to the right. This was a .40, this was a 357 SIG. Second shot with the 357 SIG here, we wanted to go slightly right a half inch and slightly above, and we were pretty close to that. And as you can see, our ice maker is absolutely deceased at the scene, and we did hit some more of the gearing and absolutely did exit. So for those of you that are keeping score, 357 SIG, substantially better performance today than the .40 Smith & Wesson. But we always have to keep in mind that could be a byproduct of that specific ammunition type, not a specific characteristic of the caliber. This video was an absolute blast to produce. I hope everybody learned something along the way as well, which is you must know the difference between cover and concealment. If you don't, it will cost you your life. Bullets have a tremendous amount of knockdown and stopping power even after going through and exiting something substantial. So keep that in mind as you map out your own home self-defense plan. My opinion on this matter is quite simply the 357 SIG is the absolute clear winner in today's performance. It has a flat trajectory, extremely good terminal ballistics, and if you can stand here and watch exactly what happens to the poultry once it makes impact, it's absolutely astonishing, and importantly, head-to-head with the 40 Smith & Wesson, clearly the winner. Not that I think 40 Smith & Wesson is a bad round, I am just personally developing a lot more healthy respect for the capabilities of the 357 SIG. In a later video, we're going to run it off with the 357 Magnum in a similar demonstration to determine if SIG was actually successful in creating an auto-loading cartridge just as powerful as the 357 Magnum. I think they have, but time will tell. Thanks for your time and attention, and don't be afraid to like and subscribe.